going to introduce you to the very first story that was ever published by this quite remarkable author, whose name was Margaret Wise Brown. Margaret Wise Brown had this great ability to see things like kids, or grown-up kids like me and you, I hope, see. So I'm going to introduce her to her, and I'm going to read you the story in a different way. I'm going to see the story. And the reason I'm doing it that way is because I think that's what she would have wanted if she was sitting right here next to me today. But you're out there and we're all in here. And of course, I'm going to show you how to make a puppet. That goes without saying. And the two stories that are so interconnected that you're just going to say, why didn't I think of that? Or maybe you already did, and it's just news to me because I was reading the story of her life, which is right over my left shoulder. Margaret Wise Brown. This first book, this was her very first book, not the one we're going to tell today, but this one kind of jumps, which is, excuse me, let's use the right language, hops, literally hops, with pictures even from this story to the one we're talking about today, which is Goodnight Moon. What's really cool about it, really cool, I mean, I may use that word a lot, is that the very first time I read that book was in this room here to my then little boy. He loved that story. He loved it so, and the same reason I think Margaret Wise Brown knew that all kids and grown-up kids would love it was because it created this wonderful safe space in a time when everyone would say, most little kids, maybe not you, and certainly not grown-ups anymore, is, I don't want to go to bed. I want to stay up. I have so many things to do. And the job of the little, which they never say she's little, the old lady, is to just say the only word that is ever spoken in this book, hush. So you know what I'm talking about. I am talking about Goodnight Moon, which we're going to tell in just a little bit. But we need puppets, right? How can we tell a story without puppets? So what you need to do to tell this story is either one of two things, or just use this, because this is bunny. It also means victory. What could be better? Here's the bunny's nose. And you know bunnies hop, so they're really good hand puppets. This bunny has actually been marked, so I know wherever it is, it's kind of like they do to animals that are in danger of being gone. But this hand's cool to be with me for a while. So here it is. This is how I learned how to make this puppet. It was at my grandpa's table. So another, oh, here she goes again, really cool thing. This was also at my grandpa's table, my grandma and grandpa. Because when we sat down for dinner, when we went to their house, we walked down the street. We didn't hop. We walked down the street. Can you walk like that? And we went to their house for dinner once, twice a week at least. They lived 5 blocks from my house, but only 3 or 4 blocks from school. So that was a long bit ago, and I saved this. I don't know why I saved it. Maybe it just landed. So what my grandpa would do, is a very serious man. We'd have to pass everything. He'd say, excuse me, Marilyn, that's me. Please pass this and please bless that. But the first thing we had to do was pick up our napkin, put it on our lap. Most people use paper napkins now. No problem. But you can't make a bunny out of a paper napkin. Just doesn't work. So I rummaged through all my stuff and I found one of Grandma's napkins. So what do you need to do this? And you may not get this the first 107 times. You may get it the first time, or you may never get it. So I'll show you an easier way to do it than that. To make a fist like this. And what you're going to know is that this corner is going to go through that, like that. This right in here. Bump. So you spread these fingers out after there. Now, if that corner goes through here, and we need a bunny nose right here, see, he's ready to be a bunny's nose because he's wiggling. You take this one, and you pull it on the other side of your middle finger. And if you pull tight enough, oh, excuse me, I don't know where this bunny came from. I'm sorry, I'll be right back. Excuse me, bunny. Oh. You have no words? Actually, bunnies don't have words, do they? No, they have movement. That's cool. Well, how does a bunny move? Excellent. Watch that bunny go. Normally, I don't let bunnies in my house. I actually don't even like when they're in my garden because they like to eat my plants. But it's hard to not like them because look at that. Is that so cute? Do you like that bunny? I have a present for him. What? I brought you. That's a real carrot and you're just a napkin. Oh, I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend you. Now, magicians use bunnies in their shows, right? They say abracadabra and the bunny will appear, or abracadabra. The bunny will appear and then the bunny will disappear. So that's cool about this bunny. So let me show you one more time how to try to make the bunny. Then I'll show you a really easy way to do it. So bunny, disappear. Okay, now he's good. Maybe I'll show you the abracadabra part. Watch this. Hocus pocus, dominocus. Oh, he's gone. My bunny's gone. Vanished into thin air. So here we have again Grandma and Grandpa's napkin. My hand is like this, right? I'm going to cover my hand as if it were on the table, which my hand should not be, right? That's impolite. I take a corner, put it through the first, this finger, and the middle finger. Everything goes around the middle finger, that all-important middle finger, and then this one here. So I don't want you to run and start it and try it now, because you can always play this. Oh my goodness, you have an itch? And that's our bunny. He could be in our story, but he would be really hard for me to use, right? Because my hand is busy. So I'm going to show you how to make another one, and maybe he'll come back later. Would you come back later? What? You'd love to. Thank you. But right now, would you run away, bunny? Oh, did I give away the name of the first story? I did. But I'm just going to show you that. I'm not going to tell it. So I have to make him do that thing again. So could you say that with me? Hocus pocus, dominocus. Ready, go. Very nice. Put him on my lap, because that's where the napkin goes. So what do you say we take one of these? It's a paper towel. You can use the shorter ones, which come from another kind of paper, but these are really cool because you can make really long bunny ears out of him. So here's his body. And what we're going to do is we're going to make a couple of cuts. Now bunnies, as you know, I'm going to show you while I'm doing it, have long floppy ears. And they're cool because they make him flop as he goes along. I'm going to make this. So here is this here too. And I'm going to turn him upside down in a minute, but this is going to become his rabbit nose. And then when I turn him over, see, he's got a little rabbit nose here. Or maybe it's his rabbit tongue. I hardly know. I don't know how this is going to come out. And that's the best part. Because I think the best part of making something is not even know how it's going to come out. So I'm going to make his ears a little bit curvy like that, like a bunny's ears might be. So you know where this is going, right? And because he's a bunny, he's going to have 2 ears. Now, do I need this here? I don't. So what I'm going to do, because he doesn't have any way to argue with me yet, is cut this off. And it's paper. If you don't have a tube, you can roll up a piece of paper. You can roll up a piece of newspaper that's not being used or read already, or you can cut out any kind of paper, but as long as you know and have permission, right? So I'm going to get rid of this. We might be able to use it on something else. So I'll put it in the scrap pile. So what do we have here? We have the makings of a bunny. Doesn't need a whole lot. Oh, it needs a couple of eyes. So bunnies need to know where they're going, especially if they're going to go and make trouble like my bunny here. So what do you think? These are, oh, I had these around for so long. Look, most of them are used up. So I'm going to just go a little bit fun here today and put one of these here. Now, you're probably saying to yourself, I don't have eyes like that. I hope you don't. Oh, you mean stickers? Oh, well, you don't need to have stickers like that, right? So let's look at our bunny. Our bunny has a nose. How do we make a nose, bunny? Oh, a marker? What a good idea. Why didn't I think of that? Just going to make a little bunny nose. But what really makes everybody know he's a bunny? His ears. And then we're going to just put on a little funny mouth like that. So here he is, Mr. Bunny. And what's cool about this bunny, he can sit up here. He can sit up here like this, I hope. Yeah, he did. Whoops. Where'd Marilyn go? Oh, here I am. Okay. So I'm going to hop this bunny off. What did I use? A tube. And now he's going to hop. So that's all we need to tell this story. Oh, I promised you I would show you an easy way to make this bunny. Now, what you do is you take, this is a different napkin. This is actually a handkerchief. Do you have any of those? So if you take a handkerchief and you just tie a knot in the middle of it, like that, best you can, and you hold it like that, bunny. What did I do? I took the handkerchief and I made a knot in the middle, just like that. I might want to roll it up. That's fun too. Roll your napkin handkerchief and tie a knot like that. And then you poke it up like this. So basically all you really have, you have a couple of ears. But you know it's a bunny, right? Because that's how we know they're bunnies. They also have a white tail, most of them. So when you see them leaving your garden after eating everything, you know who to say, "What? You ate everything in my garden? What am I going to feed my friends?" Okay, enough of me talking. This book, the very first book that was published in what became a 3-book series, is called The Runaway Bunny. And I'm not going to tell that one to you, but I want you to look carefully at a couple of things. The colors. See the colors? Lovely blue, lovely green. This story is about, I know that so many of us have thought about this. I certainly did when I was a kid. Leaving home. You know, I've had it here. I'm going to go away. So this is a conversation between the little bunny, this little one here, and his mama, who would be called a rabbit, because a bunny is a baby and a rabbit. And he says to her, Mama, what would you do if? And Mama, being wise, like Margaret Wise Brown, tells him what she would do if he did that. Now I'm going to turn to a page in this book, and I'm turning to it because this is something I discovered when I was doing all my reading, getting ready for you. I discovered that one of the very last pages is this page. Now, if I was so busy and I had not paid attention to which book was what, I would have opened to this page and said, look at that. That's from Goodnight Moon, because it's the same setting, except for one thing. In Goodnight Moon, we are in a great green room. Oh, this is not a great green room. Now, there's green in it, but in Goodnight Moon, there are all of these things, or some of them, that help us tell our story. So I'm going to hold on to this, and I'm going to turn to the last page, because it is my favorite line in the whole book. After all of his running, after all of his threatening to leave home, once he figures out that it doesn't matter, that Mama loves him so much, she's going to be so creative and find him. And she sits down on her lap and she says to him, my favorite line, have a carrot. And that's the end of the story. Now, when she wrote Runaway Bunny, and it was published in 1942, that wasn't the end of the book. And the publisher said, I don't like that end. Let's think of another one. And that's what's so creative about artists. There went a call to other writers and said, what do you think? What would you do? And another writer asked Margaret Wise Brown if she would accept this end. And she said, sure, because that's sharing and making a story better. So Margaret Wise Brown, whose book I love, The Runaway Bunny, when that ends, have a carrot, That wasn't even her words, but it was because she accepted it into her book. The book was illustrated by Clement Hurd, that book, and this one. And you can see that he borrowed all of those things to make this story. I'm going to do something I have never done with you before. And if this is your first time, you're never going to know, right? I'm going to tell you the story using the book. And we're going to point to the things in the book. And that tells the whole story. The book has 32 pages, which isn't a lot of pages. And because of the illustrations in the book, and because I'm taking off the jacket, just not because the book's too warm, it's because it helps me hold it better. But I'm keeping it because I love the jacket. It tells the story too. This book could be told without the words. And I think those are the best picture books of all. She was one of the very first artists, if not authors, to do that. So she became very well known for that. She wrote not one, not two, not three, but over 100 books. And they are all lovely. Wonderful series you should look into called The Noisy Books. And wouldn't that be nice, right? And then this one, which I've also told my good friend Shelley, is called Wait Till the Moon is Full. And all of the characters all of the characters in all of her books that I've found so far, I could be wrong, are the ones that I love the most. There are no people. I like people, right? Don't get me wrong. But they're all told with animals. And this is about a little raccoon. And he, like the bunny, wanted to be treated like an adult. He wanted to go his very own way. And Mama said, nope, we got to wait till the moon is full. Because that's when that little raccoon will be old enough to go on. So, are you ready? I would like very much if you would look at this book, these pages, and help me tell the story. So if I don't go in the right direction, I want you to look and find the things in the book, right? I tried to do this for you, and I had a great time, but it's so confusing. Oh my goodness. So let me just show you the pattern. I took that middle page that I'm about to show you, and I made this. Oh, look at that. This is a diagram, a roadmap of where our story goes. And if you look right down here by my finger, the finger that's moving, that's where it starts. And if you follow the arrows, I go from 1 to 2, and you're going to get this, right? Then I go to 3 and 4 and then 5 until the lines become green. And that's where the second part of the story begins. Because what Margaret Wise Brown figured out is everything needs a pattern. So we walk through the story, we set it up, and then we get to the main theme. So in the middle of the book, or close enough to it, is this picture. Okay? So I'm not going to do a whole lot. I'm going to point. I will start at the very beginning of the book. And it goes like this. In the great green room, there was a telephone. You see it? Good. A red balloon. You see it? And a picture of a cow jumping over the moon. 3 little bears sitting on chairs. 2 little kittens. Excuse me, kittens. A pair of mittens. A little toy house. Gotcha. A young mouse. A comb and a brush and a bowl full of mush. And a quiet old lady who was whispering, hush. That's the setting of our story. We now know where most things are in our book. So let's talk for a second. It's bedtime. you don't want to go to sleep. Somebody in that room, a quiet old lady, wants you to go to bed. So she, like maybe someone you know, or maybe more important, yourself, has figured out how to get you to sleep. So, part 2. We know where everything is in our story. In the great green room, there was a telephone, a red balloon, and a picture of a cow jumping over the moon. There were 3 little bears sitting on chairs, 2 little kittens and a pair of mittens, a little toy house, a young mouse, a comb and a brush, and a bowl full of mush, and a quiet old lady whispering, hush. Good night, room. Good night, moon. Good night, cow jumping over the moon. Good night, light. And the red balloon. Good night, bears. Good night, chair. Good night, kittens. Good night, mittens. Good night, clocks. And good night, socks. Good night, little house. And good night, mouse. Good night, comb. Good night, brush. Good night, nobody. And good night, mush. And good night to the old lady who was whispering, hush. Good night, stars. Good night, air. Good night, noises everywhere. So, when you go to sleep at night, oh, excuse me, I jumped the gun there, right? Good. When you get to go, ready to go to sleep, I want you to think about this. Look around your sleeping space. Recognize the things that are familiar and safe to you. Say good night to them. Good night, stars. Good night, air. Good night, room noises everywhere. Good night, moon. A book that makes us feel safe. A book that takes in color and ways that we connect to our world outside. And if your room is not green, and if you'd like to draw your room, here's something you can do. If you draw or not, take somebody that you love, or somebody that you play with, or figure it out. Take a piece of paper. Oh, look at me. Do I have purple? I do. So what if I had a big purple room? What if I wanted to make a book, a good night book? I'm gonna go get my bunny, see what he'd love to do. I think I'll take this bunny, because he looks kind of wired, not wanting to go to sleep. I'll put him over here. Would you sit still for a minute? So let's pretend this is the bunny's room, and he does not want to go to sleep. I need him to go to sleep. So I'm going to draw a room for my bunny. I'm going to draw it right here. It can be drawn with sticks and things and all sorts of ways. Maybe I'll just draw a big bed, because I think this bunny needs to go to sleep. He is looking, look at those eyes. My. May not be able to see this really well, but I wanted the bunny to have a bed. So I just drew a bed on it. So, not great, but you know what? That's good. It's good for the bunny, because they don't want to go to bed anyway. You want to go to bed, bunny? No, bunny does not want to go to bed. You want to lie down and look around your room? So we're going to put our bunny to bed here like this. Maybe, just maybe he's going to look around his room. He's going to see out the window. He's going to look up at the light in the ceiling. He's looking at the telephone. Down you go. He's thinking about all the things that make him safe. Kind of like Runaway Bunny. And then we rock him carefully to sleep. We could write our own book. It may not be like Margaret Wise Brown's, but maybe that was her book for her bunny. I want you to have a really good rest, because it's rest that makes us good. And one last visit for my bunny. One last lesson. So, one ear there, and one ear there. So I want you to help me out with this dude here because he's really excited today. He loves that story. So, in my great purple room, there is a little bunny that does not want to sleep. He wants to look at everything he wants. He can't wait for the very next day. Little Hoppy. I would have said Jumpy, but he's Hoppy. So what I need to do, like all of us do, to get a good night's rest, is to think about all the ways we can make ourselves so peaceful, so sleepy, and maybe even think about our bunny and give him something just for doing a good job. So in the words of whoever ended Margaret Wise Brown's book, and I think you can find it, have a carrot. Sleep well. Have a great week. Thanks for coming. See you next time. Bye.